Jeremy, we're so excited to have you here with us in Montreal.
Well, thanks for the invite. It was a blast.
How do you feel being with a couple of chicks?
Oh, it's a great thing. I think everyone should tweet what they think the best "a couple of chicks" marketing campaign could be, because you can pretty much use that term in any way and make people laugh and have fun.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We'll have to do that. So tell me a little bit about your company, Trend Hunter.
Yeah, trendhunter.com is the world's biggest network for trend spotting and innovation. And the way we work is we're crowdsourced. So anyone who has something really interesting or insightful that they want to share can post an article to Trend Hunter. And our categories range from pop culture, design, fashion, modern art, technology, even naughty trends. And so if you find something that you think is interesting, you submit it. Our editors review the best stuff, and then we publish about 100 to 200 articles a day.
In today's keynote, we were talking about exploiting chaos. And one of the main points that you brought up was that companies should be able to tell you in a very direct, simple phrase what they do. Why do you think companies have such a hard time explaining what they do?
What happens is that people don't necessarily have a consistent and concise answer to that question, and when they do, the tendency is to be descriptive. So if I say, what industry are you in, or what do you do, there's a tendency to say, oh, I'm a travel journalist. And that doesn't actually convince me that I should only read your stories, or that I really need to get captured by just your stuff. So the way that we sort of look at things with titles is that you need to be simple. Simple messages supercharge word of mouth. Right. You need to be direct, which is not descriptive. Direct means you're telling me why I should choose you. And then finally, you need to be supercharged. You need to find a way to make it so that I have to tell someone about what it is that you do.
It's interesting, because I wrote that down and I was going to say, so what makes something supercharged?
Yeah, so the supercharged test we like to use is that it passes the I have to tell someone test. So if I see your video, I see your product, or I understand your idea, and it's so fascinating that I need to tell someone, then you've conveyed that in a message that's going to generate word of mouth. And if you can't do that, then you're not going to get to that point. So how can you find a way to describe your product in a way that it conveys word of mouth? That's the challenge.
What kind of advice would you have for people in the travel and tourism industry? As you know, we're pretty niche focused in that area, and there's a lot of noise out there right now, and everybody's
that's the very first thing that I would gravitate towards, is this idea that there is a lot of noise out there, and people don't necessarily go to travel agents. Now they go to these sites that sort of pit off hotel versus hotel simply by the price and a couple other features. So knowing that, you can't break through, let's say if you're a hotel, by simply just being a hotel. You need to find a way to really focus in on something specific that could help generate that word of mouth, that buzz. And that can't mean you do a little bit of everything. That means you're picking something that you think would be irresistible to a specific group of customers. And then that's what you can explore.
Jeremy, I know you're really big on Twitter, but I still feel kind of like the jury's out on Twitter. Tell me what you're thinking, how businesses can use Twitter in a practical application.
So I think the way that one needs to view Twitter, even if you're, I guess, resistant to it, is that right now there's still a pretty big opportunity. And people who use Twitter tend to be people that are, over 20, 25. It's the urban professionals that are using it to communicate news, people with things that have something to say. As people start building their networks, that market is going to become saturated, and if you change your mind on it in 5 years, it's going to become difficult to enter. And there's a lot more functionality that's being added with all the different APIs people have, different websites that find ways to create value out of it. But fundamentally, people are lazy. Twitter's an easy way to communicate. More influential people get busy and lazy. Twitter's always really easy.